Is it
Yes,
visible?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is visible.
So in the last session, सर आपका शायद माइक ऑन है तो इको आ रहा है, जी भी सर.
नहीं सर,
हेलो.
माइक ऑफ है सर मेरा.
There is
अभी
echo
ऑन किया था.
at my side. So in the last session, we have seen that in image enhancement, we need some background, like what is the motivation, how do we define image and digital images, then what are the various steps under fundamental steps which can be used for image enhancement and image restoration. And we have certain example to identify objectives of image enhancement. Basically, what are the different objectives and what we can achieve through image enhancement that we have seen. And we have seen some basic relationship between pixels, which is quite necessary for performing image enhancement algorithm we have seen, and for P and DP and N8P with respect to a single pixel that is under consideration. Then we have seen image classification, image enhancement classification, in which we have seen that image enhancement activity is divided into two categories: spatial domain and frequency domain. Spatial domain, in which we are directly working on the pixels itself, while in case of frequency domain, we are calculating the Fourier transform of the image, and then we are trying to modify Fourier transform of the image. So under both methods, we have point processing and filtering, and under filtering we have smoothing and sharpening filter. So this was a brief classification of image enhancement techniques, and we started with spatial domain in the last class. We have seen the general formulation that was gxy equal to tfxy, and we said that fxy is representing either an image or an individual intensity. T is one transformation function or operator or algorithm or processing method which is being performed on input image, and we are getting the output image that is being referred by gx comma y. And we said that T operator is working on some neighborhood of x comma y. So x comma y was the point under consideration, and some neighborhood means it can be anything. So we said that the simplest neighborhood is 1 cross 1, and when we talk about 1 cross 1, we say that this is point processing, and we saw few basic gray level transformation under point processing, like linear transformation and log transformation and power law transformation, the most powerful one, because through power law transformation, if we are adjusting the value of gamma, we can generate any sort of basic transformation, whether it is identity or it is log or inverse log and through the nth power. And that was the process of gamma correction, basically to enhance image using gamma value by adjusting the value of gamma. That process was gamma correction. So we have seen all this, and the different examples we have seen in the last session, like how the value of gamma can change quality of the image, and it can improve the effectiveness in image, right? So now we will start with piecewise linear transformation. Basically, we will be continuing the previous discussion. If you go through the previous basic transformation, if I talk about log or power law transformation or identity or negative transformations, then the one common thing is, like, the formulation was S equal to TR, right? So S equal to TR means R was the input intensity, and based on that intensity you are performing some algorithm, you are defining some operator, and you are getting new value of that pixel that is represented as S. The most common thing is you are applying same set of rules for all pixels in the image. So if I start with the first image and I end up with the last pixel, then for every pixel rule is same. So again I come back to my previous example of thresholding, in which we had defined, we had said that my value was ranging from 0 to 15, and we took a value m equal to 7. So all values less than 7 were converted to 0, and all value from 7 to 15 were converted to 1. That was thresholding example that we have seen in the last session. The important thing is, if I'm writing a rule in any of the language, then what I have to do? I have to define, if r is less than m, then the value of s will be 0, else the value of s will be 1. So for any pixel x comma y, for any intensity r, basically we are applying the same set of rules. So this is same set of rule we are applying on the complete image. But what happens in case of piecewise linear transformation? Basically, piecewise linear transformation says that sometimes the single rule will not give you the best result. There is a possibility that there is a brighter section in the image, there is a darker section in the image, there is some low contrast pixels in the image, and if we are applying a common formulation, then common formulation or common transformation may not give the best result. Then in that case, rather than applying a single transformation function, if it is possible to apply multiple transformation function, then you can have a good result. Like in this example, if you can see, my image is quite poor image. It's a poor quality image because contrast is not there, right? I can see that there are some bright pixels and some dark pixels, but due to contrast, improper contrast, basically I cannot identify anything in the image. So if I apply basic transformation rules, there is a possibility that I may not get good results. So what happens in this graph, you can see that rather than applying single transformation function, whether it is identity or power log, because if I am applying power log, then it will be something like this. If I am applying gamma correction process, then it can be something like this, right? If I am using identity, then it can be something like this. But rather than applying these basic transformation functions, what I am doing, I am using three transformation functions. So if you can see, this is my first point, or the defining the first range from 0 to r1 comma s1. This is my second point, so which is defining second transformation function between r1 comma s1 and r2 comma s2, and this is my third point, which is defining another range r2 s2 comma last point. So what happens in this case, if my input intensity is in this range, this one, then in that case this transformation function will be used, right? If my input intensity is in between this range, then in that case we are using second transformation function. And if we are having my input intensity in the last range, then we are using third transformation function T3. So let us say we have three transformation function T1, T2 and T3. So basically we have defined a certain range of grayscale values for which these transformation functions will be used. So if we have multiple thresholding values, or we have multiple transformation functions, then there is a possibility that we can achieve some good results in image enhancement. So as you can see, if I am applying transformation function with three transformation functions, if I am applying image enhancement using these three transformation functions, then contrast problem has been removed and we can easily identify the contents available in the image, right? So what is the difference between basic transformations and piecewise linear transformation? When we talk about the basic transformations, basically for the complete image we are using single transformation, but in case of piecewise linear transformation we are using multiple transformation function for the image. So this is the same example as I said. This was the first range. This was the first transformation function for this first range. This is the second transformation function, and this is the third transformation function. So it is quite clearly visible that r1 comma s1 is the endpoint and second endpoint is r2 comma s2, which is dividing my input range into three categories. So one algorithm under piecewise linear transformation is called grayscale slicing. So basically what is gray level slicing? At the bottom of the slide you can see that this is the same example we had seen in case of image enhancement examples we discussed, right? There was a bridge, there is a car moving on that bridge, but there is certain irrelevant area which I don't want in my image, so I have to apply certain algorithm. So what happens, why we have put this example in gray level slicing? Because gray level slicing says that we are focusing on a specific grayscale range. We are not focusing on the complete range, rather our focus is on very short range of grayscale values so that we can improve the quality of the image. So this is the first transformation function when we say that we are performing gray level slicing. So if you see this transformation function, you will find that this is similar to identity transformation. Identity transformation means S is equal to R. So whatever the input value is, that will be the same output value. So S will be equal to R. But there is some variation in identity operator. For this particular range between A and B, we have changed this transformation function. So we have change the value to a higher value in the range of A to B. So whatever the value is there, if my intensity is in between A and B, then it will be having same value at the higher side, so that we can highlight that particular grayscale value. So the objective is to highlight all the pixels lying in the range A, B. So all the pixels between A and B will be highlighted using this transformation function. A common value will be assigned. And you can see after B, up to L minus 1, again this is identity operator. So what we are doing, basically we are using two transformation functions, and we have divided the complete range of grayscale values in three sections. The first section is implementing identity transformation. The second is performing gray level slicing by increasing the value of gray level values. And third section or the third range is also implementing identity transformation function. So since we are using more than one transformation function, so we can say that this is piecewise linear transformation. So objective is to highlight certain range of grayscale values in the image. Now this is another method. Same method. This is one method. This is second method. I'm sorry. This is second method of gray level slicing. So what is the difference between first and second? You can see in the second approach, we are not using identity transformation here. Rather, what we have done, we have suppressed the value of grayscale between 0 to A. So if any pixel is having a grayscale value that is lying between 0 to A, then we are saying that we are going to suppress that value. Similarly, if the pixel value is lying between B to L minus 1, then we are suppressing that value. But if the value lies between A and B, we are increasing the value of those pixels. So again, we want to highlight all the grayscale values which are lying between A and B, but we don't want to highlight the remaining pixels. So only the interested grayscale values will be shown, and rest of the values will not be shown, because we have suppressed the value that is quite similar to black, very near to black. So these pixels will not be visible, or if these are visible, then minorly it will be visible. But it will definitely improve the quality of the image, because we want to highlight certain section of the image or certain grayscale values of the image. So this is another technique in grayscale slicing. So if you see on this input image, we have applied the second approach, and our focus is that all the grayscale values which are presenting car and bridge, those values should be highlighted, and rest of the values should be suppressed. So as you can see in the output image, only bridge and moving car is highlighted, and rest of the images are almost suppressed, because we have not put it 0. So something is visible. So what you can do it like this also. So all the remaining value will be 0, and then A to B you can highlight, and then further if any value is there, you can suppress it. So any transformation function you can use as per your choice, which is suitable for your application. But keep in mind, whenever you are using more than one transformation function, that is piecewise linear transformation, gray level slicing says that if you are trying to improve the quality of certain gray level values or a range of gray level values, then you are performing gray level slicing. A part of that gray level you are improving. Then another technique in piecewise linear transformation is bit plane slicing. So basically, what is bit plane slicing? Some concept of computer graphics is required. How do you save an image? So let us say if I am having a 10 cross 10 image, width is 10 pixels and height is 10 pixels. So we know that 10 cross 10, that is 100 pixels will be there in the image. So how this 100 pixel image is saved? 10 cross 10 image is saved. So in image processing, we say that it depends on the type of image, whether how many bits are being used to store a single pixel. So let us say I am using 8-bit image. I am using some information here. My image is rather I should use a notepad. Yes. So what I am doing, I am using a 10 cross 10 image. So that is total of 100 pixels, because height and width are 10 cross 10, so 100 pixels. Now I want to know how computer is saving this 100 pixel image in computer. So basically for that we need a number of bits required to save a pixel. So how do we identify number of bits required to save a pixel? We say that let us say this is my 8-bit image. So what do you mean by 8-bit image? 8-bit image means 8 bits are required to store a single pixel. So if 8 bits are required to store a single pixel, then it will be 800 bits are required to store this particular image, because we have 100 pixels. For single pixel we need 8 bits, so 800 bits will be required. But keep in mind, when I am talking about one pixel, that is being formed by 8 bits. So 8-bit. So let us assume that this particular value is representing, I think 8 values are there. This is representing 1 pixel. Since all values are 0, so I can say this is my black pixel. Similarly, if I write something like this, then I can say all values are representing 255, so this is my white pixel, right? So in this way you are basically representing your pixels, and internally these pixels are being saved. Now what bitplane slicing says, that when we display an image, basically what it does, what computer system does, it combines all the 8 pixels and it shows you the image, right? That means whenever a pixel is shown, all the 8 bits are considered. Bitplane slicing says that we can show specific bits in the output, or we can hide some values or some bit planes. Basically these are individual bit planes, so we can say these are bit planes, first bit plane, then second bit plane, then third bit plane, and so on. So let us say I am not interested in a particular bit plane. That means I don't want to show the output of one particular pixel in the whole image. So out of these 8 images, let us say I say that I am not interested in the 8th bit of all pixels. So what it will do, it will discard that 8th bit and it will show you the image. So that is called bitplane slicing. If I am not interested in LSB or MSB or 1 or 2 specific pixels or bit planes, then in that case I can slice those bit planes and I can display the remaining output. Definitely that will damage the quality of the image, but you can do that, right? So that is the concept of bit planes in image processing. So for that you need to understand that how many bits are required to store a single pixel, and when you identify that 8 bits or 16 bit or 4 bits are required to store a single pixel, then you can identify bit planes. So if there are 8 bits, then we have 8 bit planes. If we are using 4 bits to store a single pixel, we will be having 4 bit planes. So these are our bit planes on which we will be working in bitplane slicing. So I again come to right. So the most important factor when you are performing bitplane slicing is, keep in mind, always higher order bits contain most of the significant visual information. So higher order bit means MSB side. So if you are discarding MSBs or any higher order bit, let us say 2 or 3 higher order bits, then you are losing all the information of the image. But lower order bits contain subtle information, that means less information is there, and if you discard lower order bits, then in that case your image quality might be degraded, but you will not lose the significant information. So whenever you have to slice the bit planes, keep in mind it should start from lower order, because most of the significant information of the image can be preserved by changing the lower order bit. One example of bitplane slicing is steganography. If you have gone through steganography, I just brief it. Basically, steganography refers to a technique through which we can hide certain information in text, in image, or in something like that, right? So if we have to use steganography with images or videos, then we take the help of bitplane slicing. So we can hide any information with the image pixels, but it will not be visible to any general user, because they will be seeing that image. But in the LSB bits, we can save that confidential information, and it can be read by the intended user. So bit plane slicing is quite useful when you are performing steganography, right? So keep in mind, higher order bit or MSB side is having significant information, while lower order bits doesn't have any significant information, and these bits can be discarded. So this is one example. In this example, you can see this is my input image. This is my input image, as you can see, and again we have considered that we are using 8 bits to store a single pixel. So you can see basically these are showing the bit planes. So this is bit plane 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 7. So bit plane 7 means it is showing you 7th bit or MSB of all the pixels.
So screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible, sir?
Yes, sir.
So I have shared everything. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It's
fine.
visible now.
Yeah. So we were talking about that higher order bits are containing significant information, while lower order is not having information. So this was my input image, where we have to apply bit plane slicing, right? And in this figure you can see that bit plane 0 to 7 are there, and bit plane 7 means that it is combining bit number 7 of all the pixels. When I talk about bit plane 0, then this bit plane 0 is combining, or it is having all the lower order bits, that is bit 0 of all the pixels. So one bit plane means all pixels with one particular nth bit or ith bit. So that is called one bit plane. So what our objective is, we can either highlight or we can discard one particular bit plane or more than one bit plane in the image. So in this example, you can say for the input image, what we are doing, we start from the bottom side. So this is my LSB, right? So as you can see, this is bit plane 0. So when I am displaying bit plane 0, the last image which I have highlighted, so you can see nothing is visible. So if I discard this particular bit plane and if I remove this particular bit plane, there is a possibility that my image will not be degraded much, right? So what happens now? Now in second case, I am displaying bit plane 1. So again you can see much of the significant information is not there. So these are basically, we are considering that these are 2 lower order bits. When I come to bit number 2, then you can see some information is visible, some part is visible, but that is again not significant, right? But when I come to 3rd, 4th and 5th, then we see that lot of information is available about the image. And when we talk about the higher order bit planes, either we talk about 6 or 7, that is the MSB, right? So MSB is representing basically almost the complete image information. So if you remove MSB, then all the information about image will be lost. But if you remove bit plane 0, that is LSB, then in that case the quality will be degraded, but the information about image will be preserved. So whenever you have to apply steganography or any similar application using bit plane slicing, then in that case it is always advisable that you should use lower order bit for saving any other information, because the quality is affected but the information of image is there and normal user cannot identify the differences. So if you are making any change in LSB and you show that image to the user, then user may not be able to identify that image has been changed. This is one more example of bit plane slicing. You can see this is my original image. This is my original image, and then we have started with bit plane 0, right? Then bit plane 1, then bit plane 2. Up to bit plane 2, you can see that nothing is visible. Then when I talk about bit plane number 3, something is there but I cannot identify anything. Then bitplane number 4, I can identify the shape of the objects. Then 5, 6 and 7, right? And when I talk about 6 and 7, then most of the information is available in the image. So very carefully you should use bitplane slicing whenever you are performing bitplane slicing for image improvement. Keep in mind always LSBs and lower order bits should be changed or slides, but higher order bits or MSBs should be preserved. Okay, so up till this point, we have seen that some basic algorithms like identity or negative or power law, log transformation. Then we identified that we can apply more than one transformation function and we can use either gray level slicing or bitplane slicing. Now we come to another very important approach in spatial domain processing technique, that is called histogram processing. So histogram processing is one important method in image enhancement which is widely used in research also to improve the quality of the image, right? So before understanding histogram processing, we must understand what histogram is and how this histogram can be used to improve the quality of the image. So basically when we talk about histogram, so histogram is defined using this formulation HRK equal to NK. Now what is the meaning of these notations? So when you say that HRK equal to NK, know that R is representing my input intensity, because in point processing we have seen that the R term was being used, or R notation was being used for defining the input intensity. So RK means kth intensity, H is indicating histogram. So when you are calculating histogram of RK, it is equal to NK. That means count of those intensities in the image. So if I have to define histogram, then histogram of a digital image with gray levels in the range 0 to L minus 1. So as I said yesterday that I am assuming that my range is from 0 to 15. So it can be defined as HRK equal to NK. Now what is the meaning of this? RK will be 0, it will be 1, it will be 2, it will be 3 up to 15. So you have to identify how many pixels are there in the image with intensity 0. So if RK is equal to 0, then NK will be the count of those pixels. So let us say in my image there are 80 pixels with intensity 0. So RK is 0 and NK is 80. Again RK is equal to 1. So we have to calculate how many pixels are there in the image with intensity 1 or grayscale value 1. So let us say 10 pixels. So NK will be 10, right? So RK is the kth gray level that you have to consider. So the value of K will range from 0 to 15. NK is the total number of pixels in the image having that particular gray level value RK, and HRK will represent the histogram. So if I plot if I draw a plot between RK versus NK, that means input intensity versus the total count of that particular intensity, then we say that that is a histogram of the digital image. So just go through the example. Okay, no problem. Fine. So we say that that is a histogram. So histogram is basically a plot between RK versus NK. So for every RK you have to calculate NK and you have to draw a 2D plot. On the horizontal axis you can have RK and on the vertical axis you can have NK, and you have to plot something like this. Then this will be considered as the histogram of the digital image, right? Now there is one more concept with histogram that is called normalized histogram. So normalized histogram means you have to divide value of NK by N, where N is the total number of pixels in the image. So again let us assume that we have 10 cross 10 image where K is ranging from 0 to L minus 1, and we want to calculate normalized histogram. Then for every RK you have to get NK and you have to divide it by N. So for 10 cross 10 image, N will be equal to 100. Right, so you have to divide it by 100. Then we say that we have calculated normalized histogram and we are working on normalized histogram. So in this case, basically PRK is the probability of occurrence of gray level value RK, and sum of all such components should be 1, because we are working on the probability. So sum of all components of normalized histogram should be 1. Now, if you go through the definition of histogram, then we haven't talked anything about image enhancement. What we are saying that for every intensity we have to calculate count of that intensity or number of pixels we have to identify in the image, and then you have to draw a 2D plot between R versus N. For every R, how many N are there, you have to draw a 2D plot. So where is image enhancement? So plotting of R versus N is not image enhancement, right? So histogram is basically just a 2D plot drawing method where you can draw the behavior and the appearance of the image. So by looking at the histogram, I can tell you about the quality of the image, right? But you cannot enhance that image using simple histogram. So if you are given a histogram of the image and you see that all the pixels are on this particular side, then you know that this is 0 and this is your L minus 1. So L minus 1 means the white and 0 means black pixel. So if all the pixels are concentrated towards 0, then the image will be black. If all the pixels are concentrated towards L minus 1, then image will be bright. So by looking at the histogram, you can tell what is the appearance of the image, what is the quality of the image, you can tell about that. So just go through this example. In this example, just consider the first one. So if you go through this particular image, you can see that a lot of darkness is there in the image. So when darkness is there and I am plotting histogram of that image, so it is quite obvious that in the range 0 to L minus 1, most of the pixels will appear on the darker side, because brighter pixels are not there, so the count of those grayscale values will be 0 and the count of darker pixels will be higher. So as you can see in this histogram, most of the pixels are on the darker side, right? So if image is not shown to me and if only histogram is available to me, then by visualizing or by viewing at this histogram, I can easily tell that this image is a dark image. Similarly, if you go through the second diagram and you are given only histogram of the image, then you can see that all the pixels are concentrated towards L minus 1. So all the pixels are towards L minus 1, so I can tell that this image is a brighter image, but it is not good quality image. Both images are not good quality image. Why? Because when a lot of darkness is there, quality is poor. When a lot of brightness is there, again quality is poor because contrasting is not there, right? So you can tell the appearance and quality of the image, whether it's a dark image or it's a bright image. Now just go through the third example. Now in this histogram, you can see that darker pixels are not there, brighter pixels are not there, but all the pixels are concentrated towards middle of the scale or middle of the axis. Now what does it mean? It means that contrast is not proper in the given image. Image is having some average values of the pixels or grayscale values. It is not showing the darker side, it is not showing the brighter side. So some average value or the similar values are there in the image, so contrasting will not be there. Right, so it is low contrast image. So by looking at the histogram, you can tell the users that this is low contrast image and quality is quite poor. You can improve the quality of the image. So now the question is, by looking at the histogram, if you can identify the quality of the image, then how do you improve the quality of that image using histogram? So for that purpose, we use a method under histogram processing that is called histogram equalization. So now this is called high contrast image. Before discussing histogram equalization, if you can go through this high contrast image, you can see that all pixels are distributed over this scale. The range or the count may be higher or lower, but the distribution is there. Uniform distribution of pixels is there over the complete scale. So you can say that this is high contrast and good quality image. So our objective in histogram processing is to convert a poor quality image, either dark image or bright image or low contrast image, to high contrast image. So how to do that? That is done through one method, that is histogram equalization. So histogram equalization is one method which is converting a poor quality image to the enhanced image using histogram, right? So I am not going in the mathematical part. I directly come to the okay, I just directly come to the example so that histogram processing and histogram equalization is clearly understood by the audience. So this is my image, 4x4 image. So total number of pixels are 16, as you can see, because 4 pixels, 4 rows are there. and 4 columns are there. So if I have to calculate n, then n is equal to 4 cross 4 and this is equal to 16. Now you can also see that the grayscale values are ranging 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are my grayscale values which are given in the image, right? So if I draw a histogram of this image, then it can be drawn like this. Keep in mind, in my problem it is given that grayscale is ranging from 0 to 9. This is the specific scale which is given in the problem itself. But if the scale is not given, then in that case this is again 2 raised to the power k. Again it will automatically go to 2 raised to the power k. So for 4 cross 4, if you can see that maximum value is 5, so this will be 2 raised to the power 3 and 7. That means 8 grayscale values will be there ranging from 0 to 7. But in the problem it is given that this grayscale is ranging from 0 to 9, so we have to consider it, right? So on the x-axis we are having 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9 because my grayscale values are from 0 to 9. So this is my RK, right? My histogram formulation says that for every RK you have to calculate NK. So calculate, identify for value 0 how many pixels are there. You can see no pixel is there, so this point will be there. For 1 you have to calculate the number of pixels, so no pixel is there, so 0 value will be there. For RK equal to 2, number of values, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. So 6 values there, so you have to mark here. Similarly for 3 you have to identify, then you find that there are 5 values or 5 pixels within this intensity. So in the same manner for every grayscale value you have to do this, and then you have to plot this diagram. So when you plot this diagram, you can say that we have drawn histogram of the given image. But again, if you look at this histogram, what is the observation? Observation is most of the pixels are on the darker side, 2, 3, 4, because majority of the pixels are from 2, 3, 4, and few pixels are in the mid-range 5, but no pixel is there on the higher side. So we can say there is some darkness in the image, right? Because it is not uniformly distributed, pixels are concentrated towards the left side, towards 0, so image will be darker. So this is the method in histogram equalization to understand. Basically what you have to do in this table, you have to write all the grayscale values from 0 to 9 because this is our scale. Then you have to write number of pixels. So this is your RK, this is your NK, which you have already identified, and you have to write in this tabular method, right? Then you have to find out CDF, cumulative density function, that is a mathematical term. That means summation of all nj where j is ranging from 0 to k. So what happens in this case, for first value this is 0. When I come to second value, then sum of these two will come here. When I come to third value, then sum of all values till third point will come here. When I come to this point, then sum of 0, 0, 6, 5 it will come here. When I come to this point, then sum of all these pixels will come here, and so on. So accordingly you have to write this summation, which is also referred as CDF, cumulative density function, and you will be getting new values as given in this table, right? Then you have to normalize it. As you can see in this slide, that it is divided by n. So whenever you are dividing your values by n, total number of pixels, which is 16 in our case, so you are trying to normalize your histogram. So what we are doing, we are dividing the previous values by 16. So we are getting some value in points ranging from 0 to 1, because either it will be 0 or it will be 1, and all the intermediate values will be between 0 to 1, right? But the question will remain same, how to display fractional values or values given in point. We cannot plot it. So we have to again convert this normalized histogram or normalized values to my grayscale range. Since my grayscale range says that my maximum value is 9 in grayscale, as you can see 9 was there, so we have to multiply the normalized value by 9. So if you multiply your normalized value by 9, then you will get all the values in the grayscale range from 0 to 9, because minimum value will be 0. So if you multiply it by 9, the value will be 0. The maximum value is 1 in this case. So if you multiply it by 9, then value will be 9. So in any case, you will not go beyond your grayscale value if you are multiplying it with the upper limit of given grayscale value. If it is 9, you have to multiply it with 9. If it is 7, then you have to multiply it with 7 and so on. So you have got all the values. So just go again through this table. Now if you see this value, gray level value are K and S, new value of S. So how do you calculate it? For 0 intensity, again 0 pixels are there. For 1 intensity, 0 pixels are there, right? For intensity 2, it has been, sorry, 0 is 0, 1 is 0, 1 has been changed to 0. I clear it, then it will be, I think, more clear to everyone. Okay. So what I am doing, I am referring these two values, gray level value and S cross 9 value. So now you can see that 0 has been changed to 0, 1 has been changed to 0, 2 has been changed to 3, 3 has been changed to 6, 4 has been changed to 8. It means that any value or any pixel which is having intensity 4, the new intensity will be 8. If any pixel is having intensity 3 in the original image, the new value will be 6. If any pixel is having value 2, then the new value will be 3. It's like that. If any pixel is having value 7, then the new value is 9. For 8, again it is 9, and for 9 it will remain 9. So what we have done, we have changed grayscale values of the input image. Now the number of pixels representing those grayscale values will also change according to this. So in case of 0, what is the count? Since 0 has been changed to 0, so you have to consider this element. 1 has been changed to 0, so you have to consider this element also. The sum is 0. So count of 0 is 0. Count of 3. So how many elements are there? 2. 2 was changed to 3 and the count was 6. So 6 is the count for 3 now. Right? 3 has been changed to 6 and the count of 3 was 5. So this will be the count for new pixel 6. Right? 4 has been changed to 8. So the NK for 8 will be 4. And all remaining pixels have been changed to 9. So the total count for 9 will be sum of all these values, that is 1. So accordingly, we can calculate new NKs for new generated intensity, that is S, and we can draw a normalized histogram. So what you are doing, you are drawing the histogram between S cross 9 and number of pixels. So when you are drawing a new histogram, that is your equalized histogram. Now you can see what we had identified, that there are values 3, 6, 8, 9. Only 4 values are there in equalized histogram. So 3, 6, 8, 9 according to the appropriate count or NK. Now you can see that when you have drawn this equalized histogram, this is distributed over the scale. Some pixels like 3 are representing the darker side, few pixels 8 and 9 are representing the brighter side, and intermediate value like 6, this is representing the mid side. Right? So basically this mid side, brighter side and darker side, basically these pixels are helping in managing contrast. So this will be a high contrast image, and that will be definitely referred as the good quality image. Right? So this is your histogram processing, how to draw a histogram, then how to improve the quality of an image using histogram equalization method, through which you can convert a darker, brighter or low contrast image to the high contrast image. Right? Then third approach is histogram specification, which is referred as histogram matching, basically which develops a gray level transformation so that histogram of the output image is matched with the pre-specified histogram of the target image. So what you are trying to do, you have a pre-specified histogram of the target image and you are converting your image in such a manner so that the histogram of your image is similar to the pre-specified histogram. So that approach is histogram specification. Right? So these are the examples of histogram specification. Like this is my input image, as you can see. This is my target image. So what I will do, I will get the histogram of my target image. So this is my pre-specified histogram, and then I will try to change my input image so that my output histogram is similar to the input histogram. So this is the processed image. You are not converting input image into output image, rather you are getting the behavior of that image and you are trying to implement that behavior in the input image. That is called histogram specification or matching of the histogram. This is another example. Source image is there and target image is there, and you are trying to match the histogram using histogram specification methods, right? So a lot of examples are there. Like this is one more example. Low contrast image is given. Then we have a target image which is of good quality, and then you match the histogram. Then how matching of the histogram or specification, histogram specification change the quality of that image. Some brightness is there, but some information is also lost, right? And this is one more example, completely dark image and we have a good quality image. Then you are trying to match the histogram. Then you can improve the quality of that image, right? So this is an histogram processing. Then I come to enhancement using arithmetic logic operations. Like when you are using image enhancement methods, then you can perform arithmetic and logic operations. So these are the operations which you can perform on images, like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. That means you can add more than one images, you can subtract one image from another, you can multiply images, you can divide images. So what do you mean by image addition or subtraction or any arithmetic operations? So basically these operations are conducted on the pixel intensities. So when you are performing image addition, then you are doing it pixel by pixel. So pixel intensity of 1,1 is added and a new image is formed and so on, right? So like that we have to perform arithmetic operations. Similarly, we can implement logical operations like and or not we can implement on the input image, so which are quite useful for masking purpose. So whenever you have to perform masking operation, these logic operations can be performed. So these are few examples of logical operation. Like you can see in the first image we are having an original image and the second is image mask. Keep in mind, whenever you are performing these logical operations and or not, only input image will not work. Rather you need a second input which is considered as mask. Keep in mind, because this particular input will be used in the next session, that is filtering. So whenever you are performing logical operation, we are having two inputs. The first is input image and second one is and image mask. So you can see this is my mask, and when you combine your original image with this and mask, then this will be the result, right? So only the section highlighted in image mask or and image mask will be shown, and rest of the contents will be discarded, or as you can see, this is shown as black in the output image, right? So keep in mind, logical operations and or basically need two inputs, original image and the image mask. Now this is another example where we are using or image mask. As you can see, original image is given and image mask is given. Then they apply or operation on the original image, so you can get the desired output, right? So this is image subtraction method. How do we do that? So my original image is fx comma y, and this is my mask or any other image which I need to subtract from the original image. Then I can subtract it like this, and we have to get the new image, that is gx comma y. Right? Okay, fine. So that's all from my side in this session. Now if any question is there from the audience part, then they can please ask. So this was about image enhancement, which I was supposed to cover yesterday, but the topic was lengthy, so it was not possible to cover it in one session. So if any question from audience is there, questions are welcome.
Participants, if you have any query, please ask them.
No question from audience?
I think no any queries, sir.
Okay, so shall we start new topic right now, or we have to do it in next session? You please suggest.
In the next session is okay.
Okay, no problem then. In the next session at 3:30 we will start new topic.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you.